Before releasing guilt, please discern between real guilt and indoctrinated guilt. Real guilt is when you have knowingly and consciously done something wrong. Not felt or thought, but done. Those things may have been motivated by fear, hate, or desperation. You may have taken another's life or forced someone to do something or stolen something, etc. If your sense of guilt is real, then this recording is not for you. In that case, turn this recording off and go make amends for your wrongdoing. You make amends either toward the person you wronged, or if that person is not around anymore, toward society in general. Define what it would take for you to make up for it, what it would take for you to feel you've paid your debt, and then go execute. Real guilt cannot be released internally, it has to be made up for externally. Unreal guilt is what this recording is for, also called indoctrinated guilt or neurotic guilt, and that can only be solved internally. It's when you've been conditioned or brainwashed to feel that you're bad or have done wrong. We are usually conditioned in this way by others, such as teachers, parents, institutions, and sometimes we even brainwash ourselves in this manner. So we have others telling us we're no good, and we sometimes tell ourselves we're no good. Examples of indoctrinated guilt are feeling guilty for having too much money or too much success, feeling guilty for leaving a relationship, feeling guilty for your sexuality, feeling guilty for having made mistakes in the past, feeling guilty for having been unaware or unkind, and so forth. So if you're dealing with this type of guilt, this recording is for you. Within the unreal type of guilt, there are, again, two kinds. Number one, completely indoctrinated guilt, such as feeling guilty for being rich and successful, which, if your money was legitimately earned, is really a stupid guilt, because your abundance benefits many others. It benefits your employees, it benefits your bank, it benefits various services you pay to. In fact, as a rich person, you are a gift to the world. When honestly earned and spent, it's a wonderful thing. So that's a guilt that would be indoctrinated. So if society shames you for that, they're indoctrinating you with an ideology that is in disalignment with how the world and the universe really work. The second type of unreal guilt regards things you did in the past or regret. Mistakes you made in the past that came from unkindness or unawareness. So you may have done something wrong, but you did not know at the time and at that level of consciousness that it was wrong. In this case, you're indoctrinating yourself that something is wrong with you, or that you missed your chance, or that you're no good. And you feel guilt because you know you could have done better, but you didn't. However, your knowing that you could have done better is a knowing that you have now in your current level of understanding and consciousness. And you might say, well, I knew about it back then, and I didn't do anything about it, but I'm saying that your knowing was not complete. Because had your knowing of the right thing been complete, you would have done the right thing. A human being always acts upon what he or she believes in completely, or the most. So if you're saying, I knew better, but I didn't follow what I knew, that is actually inaccurate. Had you really known better, consciously and subconsciously, you would have done better. What's more is that the guilt is not really helping you because it implies that you haven't changed, won't change, or can't change. But if it's your intention to take your wrongdoing as a lesson and do better henceforth, do better next time, you do not need guilt. You don't need regret. Guilt and regret simply hold you down in this I am a bad person identity. But if you intend to be a good person, what's the use of holding on to I'm a bad person? If you didn't believe that you were somehow wrong or bad, then you wouldn't be feeling any guilt. So you can see that this feeling of guilt and this belief about you being bad go together. And that is why people who hold feelings of guilt and regret tend to repeat the same mistakes over and over again in order to confirm that they're guilty and should feel that way. The mind usually thinks the opposite is true. It thinks, well, if I feel guilty and regretful, then I'm not going to make the same mistake again. But in a strange way, that's not true. The feeling of guilt and regret only lowers your vibration, making it more probable that you keep making mistakes. So let's begin the process. We're going to start by really focusing. The purpose of focusing is to make something more clear and feelable. Focusing means to keep your attention on the given subject consistently. And right now, focus on your feelings, thoughts, and ideas of guilt. Maintain your focus on guilt in order to get to the bottom of what's going on, until you start to feel the guilt. Take 1, 2, or 3 minutes and try to recreate those feelings of guilt. Turn off this recording in the meantime. Feel it as fully as you can with the help of your memory or imagination. I'll see you in a few minutes. And welcome back. Focusing on the guilt, you might have felt a sensation in the body, perhaps in the throat, the chest, or the stomach. Or maybe you did not feel much, and it was rather more of a recurring thought than a feeling. It is very well worth it to focus on these thoughts so deeply that you have the emotions arise out of the subconscious, because that's the way they come up and eventually out. It's important to bring up these feelings consciously rather than having them overwhelm you subconsciously. So if you want to try again, put this recording on pause and give it another try, or simply continue. My next question to you is, did you find the I'm a bad person identity behind the feeling of guilt? You see, you're going to find that identity behind every sense of guilt. You'll find this thing about I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I'm low, I'm a failure, something like that. So I'm going to give you another 1, 2, or 3 minutes now to focus your awareness on this identity, idea, or thought of not being a good person. You examine your self-image, or which memories could prove that you're not good enough. And if emotions well up, just allow them to well up and pass through. Focusing is what brought up those emotions and energies out of the subconscious and semi-conscious. So turn off this recording now, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes. And welcome back. My next question to you is, who taught you that you're a bad person? Do you have any memory of somebody telling you that you're no good? Or did you teach yourself that? I'd like you right now to take a paper and a pen and write down what you like, appreciate, and treasure about yourself. The reason we're going to write this down is in order to solidify these thoughts more into physical reality. So turn off this recording now and just create a long list of things you truly like about yourself. I'll talk to you in a few minutes. And welcome back. What did you feel while writing down what you like about yourself? Did you regain a sense of your self-love? And did you know that while feeling that self-love, you cannot feel guilt? The two emotions cannot exist in the same space, just like oil and water cannot be in the same physical space. While you feel appreciation, you cannot feel guilt. Now, my next question to you is, if you think you've done wrong in the past, how would you like to be instead? From this point forward. And I'd actually like you to write that down. So if you've been unkind, you'd make the intention for kindness. And if you've told lies, you'd make the intention to be honest. Put this recording on pause while you do that. And again, welcome back. Now sit back, come to rest, and close your eyes. Looking inside, check whether somebody else or you yourself told you that you are no good. Can you find any such memory? Hold your attention on that thought that you find. And then tell yourself, this is a thought. Tell yourself, this is not who I am now, this is a thought. It's one of many thoughts. Observe it without reacting, and tell yourself, this thought no longer applies to me. Mentally whisper, this thought no longer applies to me. And one more time, decide, this thought no longer applies to me. And now also, looking inside, check whether there's somebody within you, an aspect of yourself, who keeps criticizing you, keeps putting you down, keeps telling you what you should be and should do. The famous inner critic, perhaps a bit of a drill sergeant. Is there something within you, an aspect of yourself, that has been putting you down? Do your best to feel, sense, or see that inner critic. And can you gently tell this inner critic that his or her service is no longer required? Thank you for your services, and goodbye. And then on the out-breath, release your attention from the inner critic. And finally, put your awareness and attention and dedication to the new person you wish to be. Visualize or imagine your better self, your good self. Experience yourself as I am a good person. Deep inside, I am good. Because I have really desired to be a good person, I become a good person. I've done my best so far, according to my level of consciousness. Now my consciousness is higher, so I've become better. I'd like to forgive my past. I'd like to cut myself some slack and move forward. I'd like to improve a little more day by day, and I allow that to be good enough. As a person, I'm good enough. From this point forward, I bring more peace, calm, and consciousness into my life. The past does not exist. There's only that which I feel, intend, and do now. Shower yourself now with love and appreciation. Send yourself some respect and approval. While doing so, you cannot feel guilt. Just like it's impossible to have oil and water in the same space at the same time. So in sending yourself love and appreciation, you flush out the guilt. You are creating a new habit of self-appreciation, of self-respect. In the next days and weeks, every time a guilt or regret thought arises, let go of it on the out-breath instead of getting involved in it, and send yourself some more respect and appreciation. Because you now know this, you are free.